Now, joining us now, we have Rabbi Mentz, who we're going to talk to about this latest missile strike that happened in Tel Aviv several hours ago. You know, Rabbi, I went on with Trey Yingst, who was in Tel Aviv right after this happened, and I got to tell you, it was really hard to watch. I saw a baby who was about 8 months old, not much younger than my own son, being brought out of those destroyed residential buildings, and a little girl with her backpack on walking with her dad. This happened right as the sun was coming up. People were going to go to school. They were going to go have coffee with their family. They're trying to live normal lives, and this is what they're dealing with.
100%. What you're watching right now is people just sitting, normal human beings living in Israel, Jewish people being attacked just because they're Jewish. There's a madman in Iran. Imagine if he had nuke weapons. He wouldn't think twice. He would just shoot it into Tel Aviv and Haifa, and God knows what kind of damage can be done. On the other hand, I want everybody to recognize how we, the Jewish people, are living through this. Yes, there's pain. Yes, there's suffering. But there's thousands of videos going out that every time the Jewish people are running into their bunkers, you notice they're all singing and dancing. They're not cowering. They're very proud to be Jewish. They're singing songs. God is going to watch over us. So people are going to say, God watching over? This is called God watching over? Ballistic missiles are falling in Tel Aviv. One ballistic missile should take out 10 homes and kill hundreds. Even 30 is too much. Even that baby had to be suffering is too much. But we're also recognizing that there is, I know it sounds religious, but there's also a God dome over here. And so many people are singing and dancing. We are people of the book. We're people of the Bible. We are people that have lived through concentration camps, lived through Hitler, lived through the pogroms, lived through so many Hamans. And we know we're going to live. We also know that at the end of the day, that our enemies is only going to be in the history book. So the Jewish people are looking at it from two sides. They're looking at one side, oh my gosh, somebody got hurt. How can I help them? On the other hand, they're singing and dancing because they're noticing there's so many miracles. Yes, we have the dome system. Yes, we have a lot of things being shot out of the sky, but there's thousands of pieces of shrapnel falling, and nobody is being killed by this. And this is going on and on, so they're noticing the miracles, and they're singing in joy, not cowering. There's other things that's going on in Israel, things that we don't understand. The world knows we have to destroy Iran's nuclear capability. Why isn't Israel given the bunker buster? Get it done. The world will condemn Israel. The world will scream at Israel. At the G7, they're all going to say, Israel, stop, let's negotiate. No, there's no negotiation with the cancer. But now is the time to bust that nuclear system.
Rabbi, if I could just jump in there, Griff Jenkins here, as our viewers are looking live at the horrific damage that the ballistic missiles have caused in Tel Aviv there just before 8 a.m. And, you know, the difference between Israel striking specific military and nuclear facility targets in Iran, while Iran is just lobbing these ballistic missiles indiscriminately and killing and injuring civilians. You talk about the world knows that that Israel needs to take out Iran's threat. But earlier, or I should say Sunday evening, I had a chance to interview Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, and I asked him specifically, what do you hope comes from the G7? And he said, moral clarity. Why do countries have trouble understanding the threat and the need to prevent the Iranian threat to the world?
There's a lot of things being played politically and posturing. First and foremost, politically. In each one of these countries, there's hundreds of thousands of Muslims that are negative. Now, let me clarify. There's a billion Muslims. 800 million are beautiful, loving Muslims. They are some of the best people of the world, salt of the earth people. But they are radical people that if you don't believe like me, I'm going to go and make you submit to me. And these people do damage everywhere. Could you imagine what's going on in London and going on in France, and all of a sudden London goes and says, we want Israel to go and defeat Iran? Do you know what kind of an uprising in London will be? Do you know what kind of an uprising in France? So they realize they just can't talk openly because these radicals are already out of hand in these countries. So they're political leaders. On the other hand, they're also posturing. And the reason why they're posturing is because they don't know who tomorrow's leader is going to be that will take over Iran. Now, here's the moral problem. There's good and there's evil. Israel is sending leaflets, sending people, get out of Tehran. You see the traffic leaving Tehran. They're dancing the streets in Tehran. The Israeli government is targeting the enemy. The people, they have nothing to do with this war. The world sees this, but the world doesn't know how to handle this because that's not the way they fight wars. They just go and blitzkrieg, and they're embarrassed. They don't know how to see this type of morality. I really want to say something, and I don't want to sound like a preacher. I don't want to get religious, but you are talking to a rabbi. The world has always known the Jews are a light upon the nations, as it says in the prophet. How to fight a war? You can go and destroy your enemy. Israel's showing you don't have to kill civilians. You can be loving to the civilians. We are showing the world a moral clarity, black and white.
We're going to have to leave it there for now, Rabbi. But as you said, this is evil. And when you see these missiles coming in and you see these babies being brought out and these kids and just, as Griff said, lobbing these missiles into Tel Aviv, it is pure evil. Rabbi Mentz, thank you so much for your time.